The Albanian Mafia or Albanian organized crime, Albanian, Mafia Shqiptare, are the general terms used for criminal organizations based in Albania or composed of ethnic Albanians. Albanian organized crime is active in Europe, North America, South America, and various other parts of the world including the Middle East and Asia. The Albanian Mafia participates in a diverse range of criminal enterprises including trafficking in drugs, arms, humans, and human organs. The Albanian criminal scenario is characterized by diversified criminal plans which, in their complexity, show one of the highest criminal capacities in the world. In Albania alone, there are over 15 mafia families that control organized crime. According to WikiLeaks reports, the Albanian Mafia has monopolized various international affiliations from as far east as Israel, to as far west as South America. These reports primarily indicate a strong connection between politicians and various Albanian Mafia families. According to the Research Institute for European and American Studies, RIAS, Albanian Mafia groups are hybrid organizations, various sectors of society, often involved in both criminal and political activities. The Albanian Mafia, in its entirety, constitutes one of the highest crime-generating elements in the world, combining the traditional characteristics plainly manifest in the rigid internal discipline, in the clan structure, in the endogamic closure which increases the impermeability, the reliability, and the endogenous solidity with modern and innovative elements, such as transnationality, commercial imprinting and the criminogenous culture of service. The massive logistics to almost anywhere and the syncretic nature of Albanian crime has facilitated its establishment outside the mother country and its integration with the local criminality, exploiting the opportunities inherent in the entire compatriot network. In the United States, the term Albanian Mafia may include or refer specifically to various Albanian American organized crime groups, such as the Rootage Organization or Albanian Boys, both based in New York City. Albanian American crime groups vary in the extent of their connections to Albanian Mafia groups in Albania or Europe, ranging from loosely connected to or mostly independent of Albanian mafias in Europe to being essentially American extensions of European Albanian mafia groups. Structure and composition. Clan hierarchy. The typical structure of the Albanian Mafia is hierarchical. A family clan is referred to as a fis or a fair. Families contain an executive committee known as a batrak and select a high-ranking member for each unit. A unit is led by a krai or boss who selects kryatar or underbosses to serve under them. The kryatar will then choose a mik or friend who acts as a liaison to members and is responsible for coordinating unit activities. Membership. Deeply reliant on loyalty, honor, and family with blood relations and marriage being very important, most of the Albanian networks appear to be old-fashioned. Albanian mafia families or clans are usually made up of groups that have thousands of members all over the world, constituting an extended family, residing all along the Balkan route from eastern Turkey, to Western Europe, and North America. According to Yanis Michelitos, the family structure is characterized by a strong inner discipline, which is achieved by means of punitive action for every deviation from internal rules. Punishment ensures fear, and fear guarantees unconditional loyalty to the family. Provisions within the family structure allow official laws to be considered secondary, unimportant, and non-binding. Since mafia families are based on blood relations, the number of clan members are limited, and bonds between them tend to be very strong. As a result, infiltrating into the mafia is almost impossible. Members of other ethnic groups can be accepted only to execute one-time or secondary jobs. The Albanian mafia families are organized in 4-6 or more levels. Such a structure enables them to preserve the organizational action capability even in case some of its members or groups are captured. Clans by region in Albania. The Albanian mafia has clans throughout the world. In Albania, there are clans that operate in certain towns or cities. Each region is controlled by different mafia families that oversee international operations. In Shkodra, The Hokja clan is powerful and has an extensive history of criminal family members. Other prominent Albanian mafia families operating in and around Albania include the Bregus or Bregu crime family, run by Armor Bregu, who is serving time in United Kingdom, and the Osmani family, and the Banda Ilushanjas whose boss Aldo Bear has since been arrested and prosecuted. The Ilushi clan is located in the area of Kirkuj, Albania. Ilushi clan boss is Enrikanik Prelaj nicknamed Mladen. His clan has also many criminal connections in Molunat. Rituals and codes of conduct. The Albanian mafia uses the term besa, meaning trust, as a name for their code of honor. During the recruitment process, a member inducted into the Albanian mafia is required to take an oath. The oath is then considered sacred because it is defined as a bes. Besa is extremely important in Albanian culture, and is considered a verbal contract of trust. Especially in North Albania, when somebody gives someone their bes, they have given someone their life and are going to protect someone with their life. International activity. According to the U.S. State Department, Albania is the mainstay of organized crime worldwide and the main points of drug trafficking, weapons and immigrants in counterfeit goods. In addition, the cartel's national distinguished by the absence of vertical hierarchy, and controlled by family groups. 4 major clans control 20 families that also govern human trafficking, prostitution, blackmail, car robberies and money laundering, writes Sputnik. The Turkish and Italian mafia organizations are the main partners of the Albanian mafia in drug trafficking. The latter, according to Sputnik, maintain links with officials, police, customs, intelligence, and even military in their countries. China. The Albanian mafia has extended its activities into China. This after Chinese authorities have uncovered Albanian mafia activity including drug trafficking and prostitution networks. Reports state that the mafia is involved in drug transporting to various Chinese cities. Further, after smuggling the drugs, they are involved in human smuggling of Chinese nationals to Europe. Israel. The Israeli government has confirmed its concern that the Albanian mafia has spread its tentacles in the country's banking system. The Israeli intelligence agency has called for a close cooperation between Israel and Albania to combat money laundering. Justice Ministry General Manager, Dr. Rotkov Guy noted, "This is an important step in international cooperation between our countries to combat money laundering with the force of law and to deepen relations between Israel and other countries." Australia. A lengthy News Corp Australia investigation has found that an Albanian mafia group led by some of Australia's most wanted men have established entrenched infiltration of almost every level of Australian society, and according to Australian Federal Police. European organised crime, primarily the Albanian mafia, is now one of the largest organised crime threats to Australia, so entrenched and disciplined and influential in local communities it has made this a serious challenge to crack. The mostly Australian-run group, led by former King's Cross identity Veso Ulic, a Montenegrin immigrant who left Australia in 2005 never to return, was now networked to become one of the biggest transnational crime groups in the world, importing 6 tons a year into Australia alone, but many more to and from other destinations from South Africa to Europe, China, Nigeria, and the Americas, with law enforcers from notably the United Kingdom, United States and Italy involved in their pursuance. Veso Ulic is a 55-year-old ethnic Montenegrin who migrated to Australia in 1979 and within a few years was working as a small-time foot soldier running drugs and cash along the infamous Golden Mile of King's Cross, but who is now seen as a kingpin of an organisation so big, very few drug consignments enter Australia without his knowledge or permission. It has been confirmed the prosecution's office in Montenegro, where Ulic is residing, has an extensive file on Ulic and other figures in the country as part of an international arrest warrant to break the cartel up. An internal police assessment relayed to the federal government claims their criminality now extends worldwide, with direct Australian-Albanian organised crime links to notorious Mexican and Colombian clans and cartels and Asian triads including the 14K Group, South African crime lords and Italian and Dutch criminal groups, with predominantly Melbourne, Sydney, Queensland, South Australia and Tasmania using motorcycle gangs as part of the national distribution and enforcement network for the Albanians. Belgium. In 1989, Belgian Prime Minister Paul van den Boeynants was kidnapped in a plot organized by Basri Bajramai. Bajramai was acknowledged by authorities as a member of the Albanian Mafia at that time. The Albanian Mafia has deep roots in Belgium, which was recently a topic of a special program on Belgian RTBF Channel 1. Reporters tried to investigate the roots of Albanian organized crime but have complained that it is too hard to penetrate the structure and organization of the Albanian Mafia, but they agreed that the Albanian Mafia acts on the model of the Italian one, whose crime is part of the activities of entire families and which has a clearly defined hierarchy. The Albanian Mafia in Brussels has monopoly over activities such as narcotics and arms deals, according to Belgian sources. France. The Albanian Mafia in France is described as having a monopoly over many criminal transactions including arms and drug trafficking. The Albanian Mafia has a strong foothold in France, which is a key strategy as other primary transactions are overseen in neighboring countries by different mafia families and clans. French media has stated that in many cities of France, there is a network of the Albanian Mafia who are involved in narcotics trafficking and prostitution. It is a highly organized network and is very difficult to find their roots and penetrate it. Germany. Albanian Mafia families are active in some of the German urban centers, in particular Hamburg. They play an important role in the drug trade and the red light districts of the country. Although this is well known to German security authorities, such as the Bundesnachrichtendienst, they are unwilling to undertake an investigation against the Albanian criminal structures in Germany. Citation needed. Ethnic Albanians, as the German police officially calls them, migrated from Albania or the Republic of Macedonia or Kosovo, due to the war in Kosovo. Despite their relatively small number, they have quickly taken over the criminal networks of heroin and prostitution faster than any other ethnic group has ever done. In 1999, there were many fake Albanian banks that transferred great amounts of money out of Germany in order to finance the KLA guerrilla in Kosovo. This mafia uses so much violence that the German police has problems finding any witnesses to testify against them. All potential witnesses fear for their safety and for the safety of their families. BND reports state that Albanian mafia activities are thoroughly spread throughout Germany. One mafia family in Hamburg, for instance, according to BND reports, has over €300 million in real estate portfolios. Further, the clan has considerable ties to police, judges and prosecutors in Hamburg. According to British criminal Colin Blaney in his autobiography Undesirables, Albanian criminals in Germany also frequently come to blows with British criminals who operate in the nation. Albanian people traffickers have been involved in confrontations with an English organized crime group known as the Wide Awake Firm, including an incident in which a member of the English group was stabbed through the hand. Italy. The geographic vicinity, the accessibility to the EU through Italy, and the ties with the Calabrian and Apulia criminality have all contributed to the expansion of the Albanian criminality on the Italian scenario. Further factors relative to the economy have rendered the Albanian criminality even more competitive. In fact, some organizations which reached Italy in the early 1990s, infiltrated the Lombardy narco-traffic network run by the 'Ndrangheta. Albanian mafia leaders have reached stable agreements with the Italian criminal organizations, also with the mafia, so have gained legitimacy in many illegal circuits, diversifying their activities to avoid reasons of conflict with similar host structures. So, Albanian drug trafficking has emerged in Apulia, Sicily, Calabria, and Campania. The Albanian mafia reportedly uses specific trading routes to transport narcotics and illegal immigrants to Italy. Their southern route is via Montenegro and Albania. Access is then gained to Italy by boat. Sicilian Mafia Cosa Nostra. Since the beginning of the 1990s, Italy has been clamping down hard on the Sicilian Mafia. According to the Deputy Director of the Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, at the end of the 1990s the Mafia sought to survive this crackdown by forming a symbiotic relationship with the Albanian crime families known as Fairs, who provided the struggling Sicilians a hand in a number of services in their operations across Italy. Today, both Sicilian Mafia groups and the 'Ndrangheta are believed to have franchised out prostitution, gambling, and drug dealing in territories along the Adriatic coast to the Albanians. One CSIS report even claimed that this partnership had proved so successful that the Sicilian Mafia established a headquarters in Vlore, a coastal town in southern Albania at the close of the 1990s. Albanian clandestine immigrants started arriving at Italian ports in 1991. By 1997, the immigration had come under the control of the Albanian and Italian criminal groups, tightening relationships between them. Sacra Corona Unita. The Albanian Mafia seems to have established good working relationships with the Italian Mafia. On July 27, 1999, police in Honduras, Albania, with Italian assistance arrested one of the godfathers of the Sacra Corona Unita, Puglia's Italian Mafia. This Albanian link seems to confirm that the Sacra Corona Unita and the Albanian Mafia are partners in Puglia/Italy and delegate several criminal activities. Thus, in many areas of Italy, the market for cannabis, prostitution, and smuggling is run mainly by Albanians. Links to Calabria's Mafia, the 'Ndrangheta, exist in northern Italy. Several key figures of the Albanian Mafia seem to reside frequently in the Calabrian towns of Africo, Ploti, and Bovellino, Italy, fiefs of the 'Ndrangheta. Southern Albanian groups also have good relationships with Sicily's Cosa Nostra. Camorra. Roberto Saviano, the Italian writer, an expert on the Napolitan Camorra in particular and the Italian Mafia in general, spoke of the Albanian Mafia as a no longer foreign mafia to Italy and stressed that the Albanians and Italians have a brotherly relationship between each other. Saviano notes that the Camorra from Naples cannot understand the Russian mafia clans, which aren't based on family ties, and feels greater affinity with the Albanian crime families. Scandinavia. The ethnic Albanian Mafia is very powerful and extremely violent, said Kim Cliver, chief investigator for organized crime with the Danish National Police. Law enforcement authorities estimate that different Albanian mafia families may smuggle as much as 440 pounds of heroin a year into Scandinavia at any given time. Spain. According to Spanish authorities, the Albanian Mafia is composed of powerful organized factions. In a report by Spanish authorities, the factions have infiltrated banks and industrial estates. They are very active in Madrid and Costa del Sol. Switzerland. Geneva deputy public prosecutors state that the Albanian Mafia is one of the most powerful ones among 8 identified mafias in the world. The other mafia organizations around the world are the Russian Mafia, Chinese, Triad, Japanese, Yakuza, Italian Mafia, Colombian, drug cartels, organizations, and Mexican, drug cartels, organizations. The Albanian Mafia controls the entire network of heroin trafficking in Geneva, Switzerland. The Geneva deputy public prosecutors also added that the Albanian Mafia is laundering a part of income in Geneva economy, restaurants, bars, real estate, and cabarets. United Kingdom. Albanian Mafia gangs are believed to be largely behind sex trafficking, immigrant smuggling, as well as working with Turkish gangs in Southend-on-Sea, who control the heroin trade in the United Kingdom. Vice Squad officers estimate that Albanians now control more than 75% of the country's brothels, and their operations in London's Soho alone are worth more than £15 million a year. They are said to be present in every big city in Britain as well as in many smaller ones including Telford and Lancaster, after having fought off rival criminals in turf wars. Associate groups within the organizations will also hide their criminal activities within restaurants, bars, and clubs in an attempt to remain undercover. Albanian gangsters were also involved in the largest cash robbery in British crime history, the £53 million Securities heist in 2006. According to the Scottish Crime and Drug Enforcement Agency, SCDA, Albanian mafia groups have muscled in on the drug and vice trades within the Scottish underworld. The SCDA notes that Albanian mafia groups have established a foothold in arms and drugs trafficking in Scotland. Albanian mafia in the UK is heavily involved in prostitution and together with Turkish mafia control more than 70% of prostitution market in London. Citation needed. In the last few years Albanian mafia was involved more in drug trafficking, Albanians, than in prostitution, and they sold more than 500,000 kilograms of drugs in London alone. Canada. The Albanian mafia is firmly established in Canadian cities, such as Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. Albanians are involved in various white-collar activities, such as real estate and healthcare fraud. Furthermore, they are engaged in cross-border activity between the United States and Canada, which includes drug smuggling and money laundering. A Canadian Security Intelligence Service report noted that although organized crime in Canada has shifted to more multi-ethnic and loosely based structures, the term mafia is used only to identify the big three, which have hierarchical structures that are ethnically, racially, and culturally homogeneous: the Italian, Albanian, and Russian mafias. United States. The Albanian mafia in the United States has been thought to greatly increase their dominant power and is one of the most violent criminal organizations in operation, particularly with their strong connections in the European Union. In the United States, Albanian gangs started to be active in the mid-80s, mostly participating in low-level crimes, such as burglaries and robberies. Later, they would become affiliated with Cosa Nostra crime families before eventually growing strong enough to operate their own organizations under the Iliazov family name. During investigations conducted by FBI experts in the city of New York and surrounding areas against the Albanian mafia, it was noted that the Albanian mafia was too widespread and too secretive to penetrate. Furthermore, although there have been a number of operations performed by the FBI to destroy organized crime such as Italian and Russian factions, the Albanian mafia continues to be widespread in New York in a relatively high number. In 2011, a New York-based Albanian American mob was successfully convicted by the New York U.S. Attorney's Office. It was coordinated by the International Narcotics Strike Force, made up of the DEA, NYPD, ICE/SHE, New York State Police, IRS, and U.S. Marshals. The American Albanian mob was described as having hundreds of associated members, workers, and customers spanning 3 continents and with trafficking drugs from Detroit, Canada, Mexico, the Netherlands, Colombia, Peru, and Venezuela. They were also in close cooperation with other mafia families based in the European Union. Citation needed. According to Jerry Capesci, the national foremost expert on the American mafia, Albanian gangsters are the latest ethnic criminals to be presented by authorities as competition for the old and dying mafiosi. Like Irish, Cuban, Russian, Chinese, and Greek hoodlums before them, the Albanians are not serious competition for what the FBI calls traditional organized crime, the Italian mob. There are nowhere near enough of them. The FBI says that they do not yet demonstrate the established criminal sophistication of traditional Eurasian or La Cosa Nostra, LCN, organizations. There is no single Balkan mafia structured hierarchically like the traditional LCN. Rather, Balkan organized crime groups in this country translated their clan-like structure to the United States. They are not clearly defined or organized and are instead grouped around a central leader or leaders. In early 2012, the White House sanctioned suspected Albanian mafia kingpin Nazar Kelmendi for drug trafficking. U.S. President Barack Obama notified Congress saying he had sanctioned Kelmendi under the Kingpin Act, implemented by the U.S. Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC. Komendi is suspected of leading one of the strongest ethnic Albanian criminal families in the Balkans, according to the Treasury Department. He has long been suspected of running a large organization that traffics heroin, cocaine, and acetic anhydride, a raw material used in the production of heroin, to Europe through the Balkans. Honduras. Reliable information from Honduras indicates formidable Albanian mafia activity. According to WikiLeaks reports, Albanian mafia groups are affiliated with various South American politicians, and have set in motion to move their hidden assets in various banks. The WikiLeaks report goes on to state that Albanian mafia groups are preying heavily in Central America, where all roads lead to Colombian cocaine. Albanian mafia groups are laundering money through banks in Honduras and investing a large amount in construction projects to further gain influence in South America.